Welcome to Peace Friend Talk with Nzabi. Today's show is going to be very exciting because we're talking IoT. One may wonder, what is IoT? IoT is Internet of Things. So we know that a lot of businesses are, trying to connect, they are told about you have to be online, you have to be on the internet for you to be successful. You have to make sure that your products are online. You have to make sure that everything is online. And we have seen, I think, recently that a hotel in Santon, which is a Sky Hotel, has already employed 2 robots that are servicing people with COVID symptoms. So these are the realities that we have to face as a small businesses. But today we have Mr Nhlamulo Bila, who is the IT consultant with Bila ITC Solutions. I think you'll make corrections if I'm spelling it incorrectly, because that's his business. When you make a wrong spelling errors in the company, I know that the entrepreneurs can be very, very agitated. So, Mr. Bila, welcome to today's Peace Friend Talk, and we are looking forward to great engagement. But before we go on, I just want you to take us through who is this Bila who has established himself in the IT sector. I think I came across your company at some point and we did some interview in the past. Who is this Bila and what does your company stand for?
Thank you, and thank you for hosting me today. Bila ICT Solution is an IT company. We offer various IT services from development to support. So the company started in 2015. I remember when I started the company for the very first time was 2012. And when I started the company only lasted for 12 months. And then after 12 months, everything just collapsed. Because I went into entrepreneurship without experience, but I wanted to start something.
Okay.
I wanted to build a legacy. That's why it's been ICT Solutions, taken from my surname.
Okay.
So after starting the company in 2012, without entrepreneurship experience, I had to learn everything, and I had to learn everything in a short space of time. I had to deliver to clients. I had to convince clients that I can provide the services in terms of IT. But after 12 months, everything just collapsed. And then I stayed for about 2 years without re-strategizing to say, am I going back to business again, or I'll just sit and just continue without business. But in 2015, I sat down and then I told myself, I said, you know what, I'm going to register a company again. I'm going to start afresh. I'm going to do my own research. I'm going to, if I have to go back to school and study about business entrepreneurship, now I have to do it. I know how to market the business and all that. So up until today, Bila ICT Solution is still standing. Many clients are coming in. We service a lot of small businesses, both in Gauteng and Limpopo. We're hoping just to reach in other provinces, and which we are doing. Northwest, we do have clients that came in this year. Mpumalanga, we have clients that came in this year. So up until today, Bila ICT Solution is doing well, and we're hoping that we'll do better than what we are doing now.
Okay. I hear you talking about different provinces that have been doing business in them. I would ask a simple question because I think I had some kind of, people who yesterday I did tweet about it's not about tender when you do business, but some I think they could not catch, the message to say, I'm not saying that tenders are not good, but they are not the sole source of entrepreneurship journey to say, I'm waiting for this opportunity. Have you done some big projects with the government or with big corporates?
With government, we tried before. Because the government is a process.
Yeah.
And everything you have to go via CSB, you have to submit all these documents they require. We have tried so hard, but there's no project that we have worked with the government before. But with private companies, we do have some projects that we have worked on. I think that was 2019, that was the last project that we worked on. So currently we have a program that we're going to start this year in March with Data Dimension.
Okay.
So it's one of the programs where we had to go there, pitch, present the company and everything. So the program is going to run for 8 months.
Okay.
For this 2021. So what we are going to do, there's a lot of things that we're going to do with Data Dimensions, and this will also give an opportunity to some of our employees in terms of going there and learn. For example, if we have people who deal with accounting in our company and the skill is not up to standard. So data dimension is going to offer training, show them how to do all this accounting and all these processes concerning to finance for the company. So yeah, so I think that's one of the projects that we'll be dealing on this year.
Yeah, no, that's quite interesting, especially when you mention data dimension, data, because this is the company that we have known for years, and this is the company that at some point was down to the ground when it comes to their shares. But the company has been resilient in terms of making sure that it succeeds, in terms of making sure that it proceeds. So I believe that their journey is very inspiring to small businesses, to entrepreneurs, to say, look, it's not about whether you fail or you collapse or whatever. The fact is keep on going forward, keep on walking, whether you're wounded or whatever, keep on walking. But what I just want to check with you is that when did this Internet of Things, IoT, gain momentum? Is it on the third industrial revolution or fourth industrial revolution, or it's been there with us that we did not identify it?
I think it has been there, but I think most of the companies or most of the business and most entrepreneurs did not want to move into Internet of Things. But if you check in the third revolution, many companies started to come in.
Okay.
For fourth industrial revolutions, that's where many companies, including small businesses, that's where they started to jump into fourth industrial revolutions. Because if you can check now, we have a lot of small businesses that are doing business online, not only big companies. Even medium companies are doing that. But what's more interesting now is small businesses are pushing into Internet of Things just to make sure they do business. There's a lot of small businesses that I know, and some of small businesses that we service from Bila ICT Solutions. Some of them, they don't have physical big buildings for, to sell the product that they sell, or maybe just provide the service that they provide. But there's a lot of business that they do online, and which is more important. And if you can check, Internet of Things have made a quite impact in terms of business and customers. Because if you can check, customers and business now, they are very close, but not physically, but through the internet.
Okay.
Because now, if we need something, we don't have to go to Pick and Pay. Sometimes if we need grocery, we can just buy grocery from home, get delivered to our place. Even if I want to buy beauty product, there is no need for me to go to Clicks now. I can buy cosmetic from Clicks, so while I'm sitting at home, they can get it delivered, or I can go and collect. So I think fourth industrial revolution, that's where many companies started to have a wake-up call to say, we need to shift. And to add on to that, if you look at last year, since we're having the pandemic, I can tell you today, I think a lot of entrepreneurs got a wake-up call that we need to shift.
Okay.
And that's why many businesses that had a difficulty to shift during the pandemic. And this is one of the things that was supposed to prepare before the pandemic. But the pandemic gave us a wake-up call to say, you know what, we need to shift. Internet of Things, the business needs to be involved.
But now, how does that allay the fear of job security? Because if you look at like the example we gave with the hotel Sky in Sandton that already has hired 2 robots, and before we know it, there'll be zoom on the passage. Because these robots can carry the luggage, up to 300 kilograms into the room. So now, how do we, from the IT point, how do we kind of give confidence and assurance to people and say, listen, you are not going to lose your job, but what is it that I have to do to keep my job as individual than to panic about job losses because of the IoT?
There is one comment that I once made. And I know a lot of people are concerned about this IT and technology that is coming in. But one thing I've realized is that even if we have robots, at the end of the day, they will need to be serviced. They are programmed. So meaning if we have a team of programmers in a team, or maybe we who have a team of IT support sort of in the company.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it can get into the point where we can have a high number of percentage of people that are going to lose their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing that you can check, the robots can do the service, but one thing I've realized that they cannot do 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can't do 100%, who will do the other 20%?
Yeah.
Meaning we need people. So even though they can't work full time, maybe let's say for example, they just work shifts,
Mm-hmm.
2 days a week or 3 days a week. We're still gonna need them when we have the robots.
So the people would still be a factor in the whole thing. Now, the question that I have is that I was reading, I think it was yesterday, where it said that Ghana is increasing in terms of spectrum. And are we saying that Africa is still wrestling with whether we should increase spectrum, whether we should reduce the price of data, and the same happens in South Africa, where we have these concerns about data now. The other company taking the government to court to say, look, you are now creating a huge competition, and that will lower our revenues. How do we see the government playing a role when it comes to access to data and internet? Because when we talk about IoT, it will mean that we need to have data, and that is cheaper.
When you look at Vodacom and MTN, including Cell C and Telkom, for the prepaid data, even though they come up with a certain percentage that they have cut from their previous prices, I think somehow personally they are still expensive comparing to other countries. Because we have a country like Nigeria, I think Nigeria, their data is more or less compared to South Africa. But I think the only solution that the government they can bring on table is to bring free Wi-Fi.
Okay.
If you look at America in almost every street, there is free Wi-Fi. That's why they are able to use their CCTV cameras everywhere.
Oh.
That's what they are able to access, to monitor each and every street, from the government offices for those ones who monitor surveillance of the streets. So I think the big role that the government can play is to make sure that most of the places across the country we install free Wi-Fi.
Oh,
By doing that, I think the government will be bringing a solution. Because if we look at our telecom companies like Vodacom, even this 15% that they have cut last year or last of last year, there was a huge concern, and they complained even before they do it. So meaning I don't think they are willing to go up to 50%. But if the government can come in to say, okay, we can identify most of the spots that we can install this free Wi-Fi. They are doing that, but I don't think the coverage is enough, because it's just selected spot that have installed this free Wi-Fi in, more especially not into small towns, but in big towns like Pretoria and Joburg. There's some spots where they do have free Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Now I just want to check something with you. What could be the 3 key things that you would say that a small business can have handy to optimize their online presence?
I think social media play a very big role. And I think one advantage that we have with social media is Facebook, we don't pay anything. Twitter, we don't pay anything. Instagram, we don't pay anything. WhatsApp, we don't pay anything. The only thing that you need to do is only just to have data to be able to operate.
To be able to work on it.
So I think Facebook can be one of the platforms, or social media overall, can be one of the platforms that I think the small business can take advantage of those platforms. Because if I start a business today, I'll need to market my business. I'll need to put my information out there so people can know what we offer. But if I had to pay for Facebook, I had to pay for Twitter. How am I going to pay with the business is only 2 weeks to its own? So since they are free, I think small businesses have to take an advantage
of the social media.
Okay. Start from there. Because if we look at the website, I advise a lot of people to say, they come to us and say we need a website. It's a new company. I said, okay, we can provide the website, we can develop it for you to make sure everything is up and running. But since the company is new, don't you think there are other things that you need to focus on? Because the website needs to be maintained. Some small businesses can afford.
It's the first time I hear the IT consultant be honest and say, guys, please make use of social media. We can develop you the website. I'm sure you heard that, guys, that we can develop you the website and everything, but it will need to be maintained. And here is a social media space that you can use for free. Mr. Bila, in closing, what does the future hold for your company?
I think in looking into technology, though I think there are some things that we still need to learn, because technology is growing every day and new things are coming in every day. I mostly tell tech students to say, you can go to school for 3 years, but by the time you finish, everything that you have learned, you will realize that it doesn't even make sense. You still have to learn again.
Oh no, yeah.
So technology is growing every day. New things are coming in.
So you have to stay on top of the game by developing yourself and growing yourself. So you can share your website with us, and then before we can wrap up.
So our website is www.bilaiCTsolutions.co.za. You can also find us on Facebook, on Twitter. For support, you can also email itsupport@bilaiCTsolution.co.za. For calls, you can call 073-0912-402.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time. And we know that you have other engagements to go and make money. So let's go and rock and roll. Thank you very much.
No, thanks a lot.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, wait.